Let us now take the last sutram in this adhikara of Samanadhikaranena, which as we know runs down from 2149 to the end of the first quarter of the second chapter of the Ashtadhyayi. This is the last sutram in that quarter. Sutram is 2172. Mayura Vyamsakadayascha. Vritti simply says Ete Nipatyante, which means that the compounds Mayura Vyamsaka etc. are given as ready-made Tatpurushaha compounds. Nipatyante. Without prescribing any derivational steps, these compounds are given as ready-made forms. So these are kind of special or miscellaneous Tatpurushaha compounds, one-off exceptions, so to speak. So there's no point in prescribing new rules to derive all these various compounds. Rather than that, Panini has chosen to put these in like an exceptional class of Tatpurushaha compounds. The first note here says that Chakarotra avadharanarthaha. Chakaraha atra avadharanarthaha. The use of cha in this sutram, Mayura Vyamsakadayascha, is for the purpose of limitation. Avadharanam. Tena Paramayura Vyamsakaha ityadi samasantaram na bhavati. Hence the compounds Mayura Vyamsakaha etc. cannot be further compounded to give compounds like Paramayura Vyamsakaha. That is not allowed. These compounds, Mayura Vyamsaka etc., they are special compounds. They don't enter into further compounding. Second note here says that Avihita Lakshanastat Purusho Mayura Vyamsakadishu Drashtavyaha, which means a Tatpurushaha compound that is accepted in usage but is not prescribed by any rule should be considered to be part of the Mayura Vyamsakadi Ganaha. So the listing of the Mayura Vyamsakadi Ganaha is not exhaustive. If we come across a Tatpurushaha compound being used by the scholars, but there is no sutram to justify it, then we can consider that compound to be part of the Mayura Vyamsakadi Ganaha. What exactly does the compound Mayura Vyamsakaha mean? The commentary says Vyamsako dhurtaha. The meaning of Vyamsakaha is dhurtaha, cunning, a rogue. The compound Mayura Vyamsakaha may be analyzed in two ways. First way is Mayuraschasau Vyamsakaha, a peacock who is cunning, a rogue. Note here says that 2157 Visheshanam Visheshyena Bahulam would not work here because it would place the adjective Vyamsaka in the prior position in the compound. We want Vyamsaka to be the Uttarapadam. That is why it is given as a ready-made form. The second way is to analyze the compound as Mayura Iva Vyamsakaha. Mayuraha Iva Vyamsakaha. Cunning, a rogue like a peacock. Now note that even though the Sutram 2155 Upamanani Samanya Vachanaihi would also yield the compound Mayura Vyamsaka, like we have Megha Iva Shyamaha, Megha Shyamaha. We could similarly form Mayura Vyamsakaha as Mayura Iva Vyamsakaha, but it would not have the correct intonation. The swaraha. Sutram involved here is 622. That Sutram 622 would become applicable if we use a Sutram 2155 to form this compound. 2155 says Upamana ni samanya vachanaihi, and 622 specifically mentions Upamana as a part of the Sutram. We don't have to go into 622 in detail. We're not studying the Swara Prakriya, the intonation that's only applicable in the Veda. But the point here is that 2155 could not be used to give the correct form of the Sutram Mayura Vyamsakaha because 622 becomes applicable when 2155 is used, and that spoils this compound because applying 622 would give the undesired intonation for this compound. That is why we need 2172 to give us a ready-made form to which 622 cannot apply. Okay, here are some other examples of compounds listed in the Mayura Vyamsakadi Ganaha. The first one is Udak Chavakcha. Udakcha Avakcha equals Uchavacham, high and low. Yamarkoshaha gives the meaning of Uchavacham as Naika Bhedam, not of one kind. It's a variety, so variegated. Here Udak and Avak have irregularly taken the substitutions ucha and avacha. There is no sutram to justify these substitutions. So therefore we consider this compound as part of the Mayura Vyamsakadi Ganaha. Next example is Nasti Kinchana Yasya Saha equals Akinchanaha. Destitute, one who owns nothing. Note says that Kim is intervening between the particle Nyai and Chana. Of course, we know that the ending letter Nya of Nyai is a it letter, and we would like to use the Sutram 6373 No Lopo Nanyaha to perform the elision Lopaha of the beginning letter Na of Nyai. But the Sutram 6373 only applies when the final member of the compound immediately follows Nyai. So it cannot be used here because here Kim is intervening between Nai and Chana. Hence the letter Na of Nai cannot be elided by 6373 here. We need the Nipatanam to take care of that, the ready-made form. Not only that, this compound is Anya Pada Pradhanaha. Its dominant member lies outside the compound. Remember, Tat Purushaha Samasaha as a general rule is Uttara Pada Pradhanaha. Its dominant member is the final member of the compound. In this example, Akinchanaha, that has been violated. The dominant member is one who owns nothing. It's not just Nasti Kinchana. It's Nasti Kinchana Yasya Saha. So this is the second reason why this compound is given as a ready-made form. Similarly, the compound Nasti Kuto Bhayam Yasya Saha. Akuto Bhayaha, one who has no fear from anywhere. Basically, one who's fearless. Same thing here. Kutas is intervening between Nai and Bhaya. Hence 6373 No Lopo Nanyaha, which only applies when the final member of a compound immediately follows Nai. Cannot be used here to perform the elision of the letter Na of Nai. And the same thing here as in the prior example, this compound is Anya Pada Pradhanaha. Its dominant member lies outside the compound. The compound doesn't mean no fear from anywhere. It means one who has no fear from anywhere. So this is not really a well-behaved Tatpurushaha compound. That is why we need Nipatanam, ready-made form. Next example is Anyo Raja equals Rajantaram, another or different king. So note here says that Antara is used in the sense of Anya, meaning another, or Bhinna, meaning different here. And it has been placed in the latter position in the compound, even though it is the adjective. The second note says that the compound has taken the neuter gender, even though Rajan is masculine. The entire compound refers to another or different king. Now the word Rajan denoting king is masculine, but this compound is used in the neuter gender. Because of these peculiarities, we have to include this compound in the Mayura Vyamsakadi Ganaha. We don't have any rules to justify this kind of compounding. The final note here says that this is a Nitya Samasaha, an obligatory compound, and hence the Laukika Vigraha cannot be composed by using only those words which are part of the compound. The Laukika Vigraha has to be Anyo Raja or Bhinno Raja, while the compound itself is Rajantaram. That's what makes it a Nitya Samasaha. The next example here is Chideva equals Chin Matram. Chid Eva equals Chin Matram. Mere or pure intelligence or consciousness. Note here says that Matra is used here in the sense of Avadharane, limitation, expressed by Eva, meaning mere, just that, nothing else but just that. That is why Eva is used in the Laukika Vigraha to indicate that Matra is used in the sense of limitation, Avadharane. Next note says that the compound has taken the neuter gender even though Chit is feminine. The compound means pure consciousness or intelligence. So you would think that it would take the gender of Chit, but it hasn't. It's taken the neuter gender. Another reason why we need Nipatanam, ready-made form. Final note says here that this is a Nitya Samasaha, an obligatory compound, and hence the Laukika Vigraha cannot be composed by using only those words which are part of the compound. Laukika Vigraha is Chideva, while the compound itself is Chin Matram. The fact that Matra is used in the sense of Avadharane needs to be expressed in the Laukika Vigraha by using some other word like Eva. That's why this compounding is obligatory. Last example here is Nara iva equals Vanaraha, a monkey who is like a man. Note here says that Va is used in the sense of iva, like, in this compound. Next note says that this is also Nitya Samasaha, as we saw in the prior two examples. It's the obligatory compound, and hence the Laukika Vigraha cannot be composed by using only those words which are part of the compound. The Laukika Vigraha uses the word iva, which is not a part of the compound. But in order to bring out the meaning of Va as used in this compound, we have to use the word iva in the Laukika Vigraha. Hence, this is a Nitya Samasaha. So these are some examples of compounds which are in this class of exceptions or special Tatpurushaha compounds, for which there are no rules as such. We have to look at the accepted usage in the language, and if we see a Tatpurushaha compound which does not lend itself to analysis by any of the available rules, then we have to think of this Mayura Vyamsakadiganaha, the class of ready-made Tatpurushaha compounds, which are not prescribed by any rule as such.